And well, according to reports, they might not be done yet, as according to Sam Amick of The Athletic, the Cavaliers have explored moving Jarrett Allen, citing his contract and wanting to fall under the second apron a bit more, saying that their second apron status has been well chronicled, but league sources say that they have explored ways of trading the contract of big man Jarrett Allen, which is a pretty large contract. For a big man making $28 million this season, then ballooning up to $30.2 million next season, then a final guaranteed year of $32.4 million in 2028-29, that's a pretty big hefty contract. And yet, according to reports, he does have interest on the trade market, and one of those teams does happen to be your very own Los Angeles Lakers. This coming from Dan Weinke of The Athletic, saying that the Lakers' combination of expiring contracts and future first-round draft pick could get them in the conversation for Jarrett Allen. However, just because he could be available and could theoretically be within their price range, should they actually make a trade for him? Would he be a good fit? Would he be worth what they'd have to give up? Would it actually take a first-round draft pick, or should it take a first-round draft pick if they would make a trade for him? And well, talking about Jarrett Allen, from a basic stat line standpoint, this season averaging 14 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, 1 steal per game, 1 block per game, this coming in 27.1 minutes per game, shooting a fairly efficient 60.5% from the field, not a 3-point shooting big, overall having a bit of a down year per se, not rebounding as well, not playing as much, declining a little bit on defense, and overall I'd say has lost a step on both ends of the court, and with his contract only getting bigger, I don't think that he has much of any trade value. I mean, I guarantee if he were playing for the Lakers, we would hear about him having negative trade value, that the Lakers would have to give up a draft pick, maybe even a first-round draft pick to simply get rid of him, and he'd definitely not be viewed as a positive asset. And yet, trade reports seem to make it the other way around here, that it would take a first-round draft pick to get him, especially if the Lakers would be the ones trying to trade for him, that he is a valuable asset, even though the Cleveland Cavaliers are a second apron team and do appear to be a bit desperate to trade him and make a further trade to improve their team, I don't think I agree with that. Yes, of course, narratives always say what they want to and reports say one thing or another, usually going against the Lakers and pinning them in the negative value light. But in my opinion, this is only a good opportunity if the Lakers could get him for basically nothing through a trade, maybe even getting back a draft asset, and not having to give up their first-round draft pick. That's the only way I would have interest. Not only that, but if we could maybe move on from Deandre Ayton, then I would maybe think about it. If the combination of that would happen, the ability to move on and trade Deandre Ayton without having to give up a draft pick, then trading for Jarrett Allen and getting him without having to give up much of any draft compensation, then I might have some interest. Yes, again, I do believe that he is declining a little bit. Isn't old yet per se, but is about to be 28 later this year. Not only that, but is entering his 10th year in the NBA next season. Theoretically, he probably will decline pretty soon. Has been fairly durable, but you never really know with big men. After they turn 28 or around that 30-year-old range, they do tend to decline pretty quick. So in my opinion, a pretty good fit right now, but again with the contract looming, with it being guaranteed until 2029, and the Lakers really wanting to prioritize their financial flexibility, their cap space this summer. So in my opinion, not a terrible fit, not a terrible idea I guess, but only if the two specifications would fit. Again, that they wouldn't have to give up a first-round draft pick for him, and that they could trade Deandre Ayton while doing it. And that would look something like Deandre Ayton with either one of Gabe Vincent or Maxi Kleber in exchange for Jarrett Allen and maybe a second-round draft pick. You know, at the bare minimum, we wouldn't have to give up a draft pick. I don't think it would warrant it. Again, with the bad contract, with him declining a bit, with him being a known playoff dropper, that's another thing to talk about. I mean, I think we all remember the quote of him saying that the lights were brighter than expected in regard to playing in the playoffs and trying to get further than beyond round 1 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that's something that they still have not been able to do much of. Last season, yes, they did make it to round 2 before getting upset, and even in spite of having the best record in the NBA last season, were a pretty big disappointment. And well, Jarrett Allen was a part of that, having a bit better of a playoff showing I guess, averaging 13.4 points per game, 8.4 rebounds per game, and shooting a very efficient 72.1% from the field during the postseason, the 9 games that they played in the playoffs. But overall has been again more of a playoff dropper rather than a playoff riser. So combining that with the contract, with the decline a little bit as well, I'm not going to give up much for him through a trade. Yes, I would have some level of interest if we could find a way to upgrade from Deandre Ayton, improving this team and the fit of it, without giving up a draft pick. I think it's worth talking about and at least worth a discussion, but I'm not going to help out Cleveland, not going to help them to improve their financial flexibility over time as a second apron team, not going to give them a first-round draft pick, let alone any draft compensation while doing it, as no other team would do that for the Lakers if they had Jarrett Allen and if they were in this situation. It doesn't make sense to me. So, if the Cavaliers would view it that way as well, that the Lakers would actually be helping them and would benefit them by making this trade, helping them to offload Jarrett Allen, who they have been trying to trade for over a year now according to some reports, helping them to improve their long-term outlook and improve their long-term financial flexibility, getting under the second apron for next season, even with James Harden as part of their team, then I would be willing to talk to them. If we could find some combination with Deandre Ayton, then with an expiring contract attached with him, with no additional draft assets or at the very most a second round draft pick on our end, again I would rather get the second round draft pick and I think that would be the actual trade value barometer if the Lakers had Jarrett Allen, that's the only way I'm making this trade. I like the fit, I think he would improve this team, but I don't like the trade value and I don't like the way that some reports are trying to spin it. However, beyond all the value talk and beyond what reports are saying about it, if you're simply comparing Allen to the Lakers' current answer at center, I guess their current starting center, Deandre Ayton, yes, it definitely would be an upgrade. From that perspective, I would agree with it. Allen is definitively an upgrade in my opinion, especially on defense and even offensively a little bit in my opinion. Yes, Ayton might be a bit more skilled offensively than Allen, but overall I think Allen's the better fit, does have better hands for catching lobs, does have better timing, is a better pick and roll partner, simply works harder on both ends of the court, even though yes, he can be a bit inconsistent too. Overall, I think he would be an upgrade, I think he would be a better fit with Luka Doncic, and I think he would help the Lakers' biggest need, which does happen to be defense. And if you care about the advanced stats, here's what they have to say about that comparison. Using LeBron rating via B-Ball Index, Jarrett Allen having an A- grade for LeBron wins above replacement, meanwhile Ayton having a B- grade. Overall LeBron rating, Allen having an A grade, compared to Ayton having a D- grade. Allen having an A- offensive LeBron rating, while Ayton has a F grade, having a C+ grade for defensive LeBron, but Allen having an A- grade for defensive LeBron, which all around is better than Deandre Ayton. And all around here, whether you're talking about fit, whether you're talking about current value, or even outlook with their team going beyond this season, I definitely would pick Jarrett Allen over Deandre Ayton. I don't think that one's a tough one. However, again, if you then factor in the contract, factor in what it may or may not take to get him, if the Cavaliers are desperate to trade him and if they would trade him for basically nothing, simply to offload his contract and help out their current second apron problems, then I would think about doing it. But if reports are true and that the Lakers are maybe in the side of having to give up draft compensation or actual good assets to get him, then no, I'm definitely not doing it and I'm not going to go that route. But those are only my thoughts, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. How do you feel about the trade rumors regarding Jarrett Allen? How do you feel about the Lakers side of it? Should they give up assets for him? Should they not give up an asset for him? Or should they not even have interest in making a trade for Jarrett Allen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.